Well, welcome to the Getting Started at NEO series, and this is our second one where we're focusing on financial aid. And so hopefully this will be a really informative time to help you kind of get equipped for figuring out how to get financial aid, how to get scholarships, who to talk to, and how to go about it, because it can be kind of a confusing process sometimes. And so we have our local expert, David Fisher, our Director of Financial Aid, here with us today, and he's going to be talking about the process of getting financial aid, and I'm hopefully answering some questions that you guys might have. So we're going to go ahead and get started with it. So David, can you tell me, if I were a current student, so most of our students are current students that are on this call, can they still apply for aid?
Yes, but they need to do it right away, because we have to receive your application by next Friday in order to process aid for this semester, because next Friday is the end of the semester, and we have to have a valid application on file before the semester ends in order to process aid for the semester. So yes, you can, but you don't have much longer.
So that's for the current semester?
For the current semester, yes.
So you guys, make sure you hear that. If you haven't applied for financial aid for this semester that you're taking classes for right now, if you apply by next Friday, and let's just get the application in, right?
Let's just get the application in. As long as we receive it, we can still process it. If there's other issues, that's fine, but we have to receive a valid application for you by next Friday, which is the last day of the semester. And you want to make sure you fill out the 1920 FAFSA, because if you go out to the FAFSA website right now, 2021 and 1920 are both there. If you fill out 2021, it's not going to help you for this semester. You need to fill out 1920 if you want to get aid for this semester.
That's really important to remember, because some of you guys might be looking at a bill where you still owe money, and you're going, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this, but you maybe didn't apply for financial aid. And so you might qualify for a Pell Grant, but you might not realize that you could still get that money out there. So that's good to know. So what if they didn't accept their loans, but now they need them? They have a balance. How they pay their loan? They didn't accept them before. What do they do?
Right. If you didn't accept them, what you would need to do is, if you declined them or we canceled them, then you need to call the financial aid office so we can put them back on. And that's no big deal. We can do that easily. But you can't go back to the student web product and do it again. Once you do whatever you've done, either accept, decline, or what, you can't do it again. So if you didn't accept your loans and now you want them, call the financial aid office and we can put them back on, and then you can go back out. Within minutes, you can go right back on there and accept those loans.
And that's not an embarrassing thing, right? A lot of people have to go back and redo that.
We do it all the time.
So don't be afraid of that. If you have a balance and you're going, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this, don't be afraid of picking up the phone and calling David's office. They're really helpful, and they're patient with you, and they're going to help you out kind of getting that figured out so you can finish the semester well and then enroll in the following semester. So how would a current student complete the entrance counseling and promissory note for new borrowers? Okay,
if you haven't borrowed before and you've accepted a loan, there's two things the federal government makes everybody do. One is do entrance counseling, and the other is sign a master promissory note. And they've got a website where you do all that. It's studentaid.gov. And when you get on the website, either scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and you can see a link for entrance counseling and a link for the master promissory note. Or at the top of the page, it says complete aid process. You click on that and it gives you links to the entrance counseling and the master promissory note. The entrance counseling is just has you read a lot of information about student loans. You know, what they are, how you pay them back, when you have to start paying them back. And it asks you some questions, and then you answer those questions. And once you've done that, then you've satisfied that requirement. Then the next step would be to go to on that same website, go to the master promissory note or the loan agreement. And all you do there is it's going to pre-fill your information in, your name, date of birth, social security number, all that's going to be pre-filled. They're going to ask you to put the name and address and phone number of two references. And those can be related to you, but they can't live at the same address. You have to have two people at different addresses.
Okay.
And that's what you do if you've never had a loan before. If you had a loan last year and you accept one again, you don't have to do that again, and you only have to do it once.
Mm-hmm. So what was that website again?
Studentaid.gov.
Okay, great. Studentaid.gov if you need that. And again, these are really helpful if you have a balance still and you don't know how you're going to pay it and you're looking ahead at next semester and enrolling for next semester. If there's a hold on your account, these are options to get you taken care of so that you can get ready for next semester. How important is it to check their email?
Well, it's very important. That's how we communicate with you. If you fill out a FAFSA and we need some documents from you, that's how we're going to communicate with you. We're going to send you an email. We don't send letters because it simply costs too much money and people move so often that it doesn't do any good. So that's how we're going to communicate with you. We're going to send any communications to your NEO email account, and that's how we're going to let you know. And that's also how you'll know when you need to do entrance counseling if you haven't done it. That's how you know when you've been awarded aid. We send you an email that says you've been awarded aid, and it'll direct you out to self-service to see what you've been awarded, accept or decline. So any communication we're going to do with you personally is going to be through email. So make sure you check it, because I've had students, again, who didn't check their email, and deadlines matter. And if you miss a deadline, there's some deadlines that are hard and fast. If you miss it, I'm sorry, too bad, you missed it, and I can't go back. Some deadlines aren't as hard and fast, but some of them are, particularly when you're talking about federal regulations. That deadline of we have to have your FAFSA by the last date of the semester. If we don't have it, then I can't process aid for that semester. So deadlines are important, and you're going to know what they are if you check your email.
So you're better off assuming that the deadlines are hard and fast.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's a good practice to check your email regularly anyway, especially with your college classes. But in particular, if you've applied for aid and you're looking for that information to kind of finish that process, check your email and do it regularly so you can not miss anything.
And we're going to send email. The system, is built to automatically send you an email every 2 weeks. So as long as you have anything missing that we still need for you to do, you're going to receive an email every 14 days from us that's saying you have missing information, sign on to self-service to see what it is.
Perfect.
So, you're going to we're not just going to tell you once, we're going to tell you until you turn it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so keep checking your email. So we have a question on here from Julie. She asking if this COVID-19 will potentially help students this semester if they weren't awarded full Pell this semester. Is there some assistance?
There is. The Congress passed back in April, not very long, just a couple, 2-3 weeks ago, passed what's called the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund, or they call it the CARES Act. And NEO is receiving money from that. Every college in the United States is. And we are in the process of determining who is eligible for that money based on the guidelines the government has given us. And once we have, then we'll be communicating to students how much, but yes, most students are going to be eligible for some money. There are some exceptions, but we're hoping that, everyone that's enrolled this semester that is Title IV eligible, so you filled out a FAFSA or you can fill out a FAFSA, is going to be receiving some money from the CARES Act. We're not sure yet what the amounts are or when it will actually be, but it is coming, and it probably will be sooner rather than later.
Great, thank you so much. So that's information for current students. Now, if you're a new student or an incoming student that's going to start in fall 2020, how do they complete their FAFSA? What do they have to do?
Go to the FAFSA website, which is fafsa.gov, and you're going to fill out the 2021 FAFSA for the fall. You're going to use information when it asks you for tax information. If you file taxes or if your parents file taxes, you're going to use 2018 tax information. The easiest thing to do when you fill out that 2021 FAFSA is to use what's called the data retrieval tool, and that's actually allows you to switch from the FAFSA website to the IRS website and download your tax information directly to your FAFSA.
Nice.
That's the easiest way. If you do that and you're chosen for verification, then we don't have to get a copy of your taxes from you because we already have the information directly from the IRS. So it makes it a lot easier for you and for us because we don't have to wait for the documents. And right now with the COVID-19 crisis, the IRS is not mailing tax transcripts to anyone. So, you know, we ask for the tax transcript, no one can get one right now. So they have allowed us to, that we can accept, if you haven't done the data retrieval, then you can turn in a copy of your IRS 1040 form to us since people can't get that tax transcript. Normally all we can take is the transcript, but because of the situation now, they're allowing us to take the assigned copy of your IRS 1040 form.
Okay.
But you'll use that to answer the income questions. There's dependency questions that determine whether or not you have to put parent information on the FAFSA. Once we receive your FAFSA, we're going to send you an email that says we've received your FAFSA. It'll direct you to self-service to see if we have any missing documents that we need. If you're chosen for verification, we're going to need a worksheet and copies of your taxes. We also may need other things based on what we call comment codes. When you fill out your FAFSA, when you get the response back from the Department of Ed, it's going to have comments on it. And some of those comments are things we have to resolve. And so if you have a certain comment, we're going to ask you for a document that helps us resolve that comment. Some of them are what's called caution codes, and those are things we absolutely have to fix. Other things are really just more informational that we have to do in order to complete your financial aid. Everyone, regardless of whether they're chosen for verification or not, has to do three things. Everyone has to read and accept the terms and conditions, which is on the self-service. And then they have to answer two questions about what's called a Title IV authorization. And it's a fact of the Higher Education Act when it was written in 1965. It said that all we can pay with financial aid is tuition, fees, room, and board. So without your permission, that's all we can pay. Well, you have lots of other charges on your account that aren't tuition, fees, room, or board. If you want to use your financial aid to pay those charges, you have to give us permission. And that's what the two questions on the self-service are for, is to ask you to give us permission to use your aid to pay those charges. And those can be things like your parking sticker, your student ID, things like that. If you don't answer those questions, then what happens is when we disperse your aid, credit your account with that aid, if you haven't answered those questions or you said no, it doesn't pay those charges. So it'll pay everything else, but you're still going to owe money. And I've actually had people receive a refund from us, but still owe us money because it didn't pay those charges. So if you want to use your financial aid to pay everything, answer those questions and say yes.
Okay, so fill out your FAFSA, answer those questions. That's called the self-service?
Yes,
tutorial?
it's on self-service. You'll go to neo.edu.
Okay.
Click on self-service, then click on financial aid, and then there's several areas in the financial aid page, and that's where you can do all of these things. You can view your missing documents, you can view and accept your awards, you can see your academic standing status, you can see if you have any holds on your account. All those things are in the self-service portal. And again, we're going to notify you by sending you an email.
Yeah. When
those things happen, when we need a document, we're going to send you an email and we're going to direct you to self-service. When you've been awarded aid, we're going to send you an email, direct you to self-service to see what it is and to accept or decline. As far as financial aid goes, all of your grant aid and scholarships is automatically accepted. You don't have to do that. But we're going to offer you student loans if you're eligible. And if you're eligible, you have to accept or decline those. We can't do that for you. It has to be what we call affirmative confirmation. You have to say, yes, I want this loan. Otherwise, it just sits out there and doesn't do anything.
So that's really important. For incoming students, make sure you fill out your FAFSA and keep checking your email so that you can answer the questions you need to answer, accept or reject the loans, and for, this is part of the process. Now, David made a statement before we started rolling that financial aid is not a thing, it's a process, right?
Financial aid is not an application, it's a process. I have people who think, oh, I filled out my FAFSA, I'm done. And actually, the FAFSA is the first step in the process, not the last one. And a lot of people, it's kind of like, I kind of equate it to like if you're going to go to a concert, for instance. You want to go to a concert in Tulsa. And you see that the concert, and you've seen that it's there, and you saw that you want to go to this concert, but you don't buy a ticket, you aren't going to get to go to the concert. Your FAFSA is your ticket to be able to get money to go to school. And if you show up at the concert and you haven't bought a ticket, they're not going to let you in. And if you show up at college, we're going to let you in, but you're not going to be able to pay for it, unless you're independently wealthy. So you want to fill that FAFSA out because it's your ticket to get into college and pay most of your bill. So if you don't fill that, you're at a concert without a ticket and you don't get in.
Awesome. Thank you. That's good information. Tell me about submitting documents, the secure document upload.
Yes,
There's a process for that.
In the portal, in the self-service portal, when you go to the financial aid page, on the very bottom it says secure document upload. So instead of faxing or mailing documents to us, you can actually click on that. It's very simple. You click on secure document upload. It brings up a page that says browse. You browse for the document. Like you do for anything, you browse, you pick that document off of your computer or your cloud, however you do it. You pick that document and then you click submit, and that submits it to us, and it's secure because you have to sign in to get to the self-service, so we know it's you, and you can submit those documents, you can scan them, and make them, turn them into a PDF and scan them. You can even take a picture of the document and upload it that way. We don't like that as much as a PDF, but if it's a decent picture, we can use it. And so you can just even, but you do have to, I have people who send me the document, and a blank document that you get off the form doesn't do us any good. Actually fill it out and then send it to us.
Yeah.
Because I have people do that. Oh, I just have to send this, but you have to actually fill it out. But and almost everything you send to us has to be signed too. So you're going to have to print it out, fill it out, sign it, and then get it to us through that document upload. If you have a way to scan it, you can scan it and send it to us. You can take a picture if you want to. I know I actually use there's probably 24 apps for your smartphone that allow you to take a picture and then it converts it into a PDF. And you can get one of those. It's free. Most of them are, and you can turn that document into a PDF really easily, name it, and then upload it to us. And that's going to be the quickest and easiest way to get documents to us.
And so security is really important, and so we provide secure ways for you to submit those sensitive documents that you need to turn in. So Julie says, how will pass or not pass, P or NP?
Yeah, pass or not pass.
How will that affect financial aid this semester?
Well, if you choose the pass or no pass, pass is the same as a pass. It just means you're not going to get a grade, but you're going to pass. That'll be a course that counts towards your academic standing, so a pass is good. If you're gonna don't really want a C or a D, and but you want to pass, that's fine. That will count, and it's not going to hurt you. A not pass, an NP grade, is going to affect you, but maybe not immediately. When we do satisfactory academic progress, it's cumulative. So someone who's been here one semester, if this semester you don't do so great, and this is your first semester, you're going to be put on financial aid warning, not financial aid suspension. If you've been here more than one semester, We're going to evaluate both semesters. If you started in the fall, you're here in the spring, all the stuff that's happened has caused you to maybe fall behind. We're going to look at fall and spring, and if you did pretty good in the spring, fall may not affect you that much, because it's cumulative, not just for one semester that we look at things. So we have been given leeway by the federal government from their normal process, and if you don't do so great this semester, we are going to, certain students, particularly if you withdrew from a class, the government has allowed us to not count those withdrawals against you. Fs are still going to count against you, or a no pass grade will count against you, but if you did withdraw, normally those would affect you, but we can ignore those for this semester.
Okay, so there are exceptions with
Yes.
the current situation. Angie asked, how long after you receive students' FAFSA will you email them letting them know it was received? So how long does it take from when they submit their FAFSA, that you
when you submit the FAFSA, they say it'll be available within 24 hours. That's not true.
So that's not one of those hard deadlines.
Yeah, because when you fill it out, you'll actually get an email in about 3 days from the federal government that says we've received your FAFSA and it's available to the school. Normally it takes us about 5 days. So if you filled your FAFSA out today, we wouldn't get it until next week. Saturday and Sunday don't count. They don't process FAFSAs then, so that adds, so that's why we always say 5 to 7 days, because if you fill it out on Friday, we probably won't have it till Thursday of next week, because they're not going to do anything with it on Saturday and Sunday. But once we receive it, the day we receive it, you'll get an email that the next day that we've received it, and directing you to the self-service portal to see if you have any missing documents. So it's going to, once we do receive it, you're going to get an email right away.
Okay, great, thank you. So I don't see any other questions in the chat. If any of you guys have other questions for David, go ahead and unmute your microphone and ask us, please, if you would.
I have a question.
Okay.
I had filed my FAFSA, it's been a while. It's been more than 3 weeks, and I haven't gotten an email.
Well, I would say go on to the self-service, sign on. If you don't see anything there, that means that for whatever reason we didn't get it. Occasionally when we get a FAFSA, something will happen with our system, and it goes into what's called a suspense file. If everything in the admissions office and on your FAFSA don't match exactly, then it puts your FAFSA into that suspense. And then we have to do something, and sometimes you have to do something to get it to see. Because if your name, date of birth, and social security number don't match on your FAFSA, don't match what admissions have, then we can't, it doesn't load, and we don't see it.
Is there something that will notify them that there's something wrong? Or if they just don't see it?
No, because it's one of those things of, we don't know what we don't have.
Yeah.
And so we don't know if you've sent it and something has happened that we didn't get it. We don't know that, because we don't know what we don't know. We only know what we do know. So if you haven't, call us and we can see if it's in suspense or if something else happened and we haven't received it.
Because you have access to that suspense.
Right.
Okay. So does that help you?
Yeah, because I had went to NEO because it did say that there was something wrong with my application that I turned in, and we fixed it, and I still haven't gotten email.
Yeah, and depending on what you fix, that could be that it could have, again, still be in that suspense file. So give us a call and we can look it up specifically and see what's wrong.
And David, can you give them your number just so that they have
Yes.
it?
The financial aid is 918-540-6235. Just give us a call.
I had somebody ask, just when will we get a refund on account from housing and meals?
That is a question that I can't answer because that's being handled by the business office, not by financial aid. So I hate to pass the buck, but honestly, I do not know because it's being processed by the business office.
And that's probably another thing to clarify as well, is that you deal with the federal side with your office. But campus side and paying your bill, that all goes through the business office, correct?
The way I say it is we give you money, but we don't take any money. So if you have, if anything you have to do, it has to do with giving me money, I don't do that. That's done in the business office.
So that's good. That's good for everybody to know, for sure. Well, if there aren't any questions, David, is there any final thought you'd like to share with our students?
Just what I always tell people: be proactive. Don't fill out your FAFSA and then forget about it. You know, be proactive. Check your email. If like I think it was Jessica, maybe that.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
That asked the question. You know, if you've filled it out a long time ago and haven't heard anything, then something's wrong, and call us, and we can figure out what's going on. And sometimes it's something we can fix, and sometimes it's something you might have to do to get it to come through to us. But yeah, be proactive and stay on top of things. It will go a lot easier. And the other thing is, make sure you always fill it out as soon as you can. Don't wait until August. People that wait to fill their FAFSA out to August have lots of issues because a whole bunch of other people wait till August, and then it bottlenecks, and we can't process it as fast. During the time of the year, you know, if you get a FAFSA in, you turn our document, you know, it might be from the day we get it to the day you get an award, it could be 10 days, 2 weeks at most. In August, it could stretch out for a lot longer because we're waiting, we've got so many more people to process that it takes longer.
And
David, I'm
yes.
sorry. For the ones that are wanting to, they filled out their FAFSA for the fall semester, but they wanted to do some classes online this summer. Would that same FAFSA work for this summer, or do they need to fill out the one for this?
If you're Pell eligible, yes. So if you fill the 2021 FAFSA out and you're eligible for a Pell Grant, we can take your Pell Grant out of the fall one and use it for summer attendance. If you're wanting to get a loan for summer attendance, then a loan has to come out of your 1920 FAFSA because of the start date is June, and the next year doesn't start till July, so we can't do a loan out of 2021. We can do a loan out of 1920, and you have to be enrolled in 6 hours to get a loan for in the summer, just like you do for regular semesters.
So make sure that you're being proactive. Fill out your forms as early as you can. Check your email. Make sure that you are paying attention to those things when you get emails, when you get notifications. Respond to them. And another thing that I would really like to make sure everybody knows is that our financial aid department, our business office, our admissions office, all of those services are here to help you. Not here to be bullies, to make it hard for you to get aid. David's job is to make sure that you have money to pay for school. And so he wants to do that job well. And so the more that you guys understand that when you come to their office, they're not going to make you feel dumb. And they're here to answer those questions, and they're here to help you out and support you. So please don't be afraid to call David in his office. And ask those questions. There are no dumb questions, right?
Nope, there
You've
are
probably
not.
heard them all, I'm sure.
Many times.
Yeah. So feel free to reach out to the financial aid office. Hopefully this has been helpful for you guys in your different situations. Maybe there's been a topic that we've touched on that has been beneficial for you, and it's going to help you get your financial aid that you need. So thank you all so much. David, thank you so much for sharing with everybody.
Thank you.
And we're grateful that you tuned in for this one and that you joined us on the call. And so every Thursday, we're going to be doing these. Every Thursday at 1:45. So next week, it would have been graduation. And so next week will be a special graduate celebration Zoom call. But beyond that, we'll have other topics that are helpful for you guys in your process in education. So if there's no other questions, I guess that's it. We'll be done. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next Thursday.